Hello students, I am back with the third part of this chapter, what is democracy and why democracy. So this is the third part of our chapter. Okay, till now we learned a lot about democracy and how it works. So first we got the definition of democracy. Now we are defining it. Why democracy, and it means what is democracy? It only we can say any elected government or the leaders. No, as we studied in this, democracy is the form of government in which the leaders are elected by the people. So, in the last part, we studied that only elected leaders are not make or create or form a democratic government. Okay, so it means they can win the election by using malpractices. It means they uh, use dirty tricks to win the election. So here we need to discuss about features of democracy. What are the features of democracy? We need to search it and we need to study about it. So, as we studied first about uh, major decisions by elected leaders, I told you that how the elected leaders only can take the decision in democracy. If any person who is taking the decision, like Parvez Musharraf, I told in Pakistan, so he was taking the decision, but he was not the elected member. So that's why that kind of government we cannot say is a democratic government. Then we came on the second one. Here we got the first feature of our democracy. In a democracy, the final decision making power must rest with those elected by the people. It means only those people can take the final decision. Those are elected by the people. Now, the free and fair election, I also told you which kind of dirty tricks are being used by the different parties in the different country. We took the example of China. We took the example of Mexico. Okay, so I already told you about it. So by this, what we get, we got a democracy must be based on a free and fair election where those currently in power have the fair chance of losing. Same thing, it means everyone has the same fear of losing and everyone has the same chance of winning. It means if a existing leader, if he does good for the people, so he will win. Otherwise, if he doesn't do good for the people, so other person can win. Okay, simple, it is simple. Okay, now then I told you about one person, one vote, one value. So same thing. Okay, I told you in many countries the all people are not having the voting rights, as I told you about Saudi Arabia. Then I told about Estonia and Fiji also. So the person's right, it means the people are having the voting right, but their value of vote is not is the same as equal to other people of that country. Like in Fiji, the people of Fiji, they are having we can say much value of more value of their vote, but the Indian people who lives in Fiji, they are not having as much. So what we get from this, so in a democracy, each adult citizen must have one vote and each vote must have one value. So now we'll go to the next one, and this is the final one, I think. Okay, the rule of law and respect for rights. We, if we are, if we want to see, if we want to just observe any country that it is democratic country or not, so we need to see those aspects which I told till now, and we need to see this aspect also. This is rule of law. Rule of law, we all know that if in our country, if any poor person and somebody want to harass him or somebody want to violate his rights, so why a person cannot do this? What is with that poor person? Only the law. Okay, the law with that time of person. So same thing, a government should follow the rule. Okay, it means if the government is there, which is not following the laws and they are not respecting for the rights of the people, so it means that government cannot be a democratic government. Voting can be there, voting rights can be there, all can vote, value of vote will be equal. Okay, but if they are not following the law, if they are not giving the respect to the right of the people, so it means that is not a democratic government, we cannot say that. Okay, so for example, they have given here about the story of Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is African country. I can say the South African country. It is near to South Africa. So Zimbabwe, it become independent country in 1980. From that same time, 1980, only one party, that name is Janu PF. Okay, they were winning the elections regularly. With one leader, the name was Robert Mugabe. Okay, Robert Mugabe was winning the election every time. Okay, why he was winning the election? Every 5 years they are holding the election. Why? So why he was winning like this? So he was popular in Zimbabwe. That is a good thing. A person can be popular, his government can be popular if he is doing good work. But what he did, he and then a kind of fear created in his mind. And then because he didn't want to lose his power, so what he did, he started using unfair practices, as I told about Mexico na, making fear of the people. Okay, so same thing started happening here. So what he did, so slowly when he was the president of uh, Zimbabwe. So what he did, he changed in the constitution. Many changes, many changes. So slowly he increased his power and decreased his accountability. Accountability, it means he is not answerable to anyone now. Okay, and his power become like he become very powerful. So if any public and then we can say the people, if they come on the road, they start protesting. So now he was in the power, he has much in much power, so that's why now he can beat them or he can make them quiet. At the same time, what he did that television and radio are controlled by the government. But when in any country this happens, so it become very problematic. Okay, we all know the media is the fourth pillar of our democracy. So if the one pillar will be with the government, so that it will become a problematic thing. Okay, so then television and radio, they always tell to people that which is favorable for the Robert Mugabe's government. Many newspapers were there which were independent, but government started harassing them or disturbing them. Okay, so the this example of Zimbabwe shows us what it shows us कि भाई in a democracy it is not there कि only if the government is popular, if the leader is popular. Okay, what they are saying here, popular government can be undemocratic and popular leader can be autocratic. Okay, so it means a person can become with the enormous power or popularity of the people, he can become autocratic. It means he thinks that only he is the everything. Okay, so this kind of things can be happened. So if anything like this in any country, so that country cannot be called democracy. If it is in somewhere in the country, in some countries it is, so that country is called democracy. Okay, so this is the we can say uh, fifth or I think, just a second, this one. Okay, this is the fourth feature of our democracy. Okay, so now we will get what we got from here. Okay, so here as we can see in the end, a democratic government rules within limits set by the constitutional law and citizens' right. Okay, no government can violate the rules or rights of common people, and they cannot challenge the constitution. They have to follow constitutional laws. Okay, if any government is not doing this, meaning of that they are not democratic. Okay, so after this all, what we got from here, the democracy is the form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. We studied about it, but now we are learning a little more, like what we got. It is summarization. Okay, rulers elected by the people take all the major decision. I told you, elections offer a choice and fair opportunity to the people to change their current ruler. If the current prime minister, president, anyone, CM, they are not doing good work, so we can change them in elections, and that's why elections should be free and fair. This choice and opportunity is available to all the people in the equal basis. It means all people have the voting rights, है ना? And all votes should be equal. The exercise of the choice of this choice leads to a government limited by basic rules of the constitution and citizen right. Just I told you that a government should exercise or good should work according to the law and the respect to the rights of the people. Okay, so this is a, like, now we'll go. This was what is democracy. We studied now. Okay, what is democracy? So we got the definition and we got the features. I hope you understood. If any queries, you can write in the comment. Okay, now we'll go to the next question of this chapter, that is why democracy. Why do we need democracy? Some people say, okay, that monarchical government was good. It means when the king was ruling. So, I talked to my friends also. So one of my friend told me that, do you know what is the main problem of this country? I asked him, yes, tell me. So he told that we are democratic country. That is the problem of our country, biggest problem. So yes, he is the citizen of India and he can raise his voice. He can ask the question. Okay, but he was not totally wrong. Okay, so that's why we need to discuss and we need to talk about both aspect of this democracy theme. So here same a debate is going on between teacher and student, same as I told you. Okay, here students are discussing. First, Yolanda was saying, we live in a democratic country. We read in the previous chapter that all over the world people want democracy. Okay, countries that were not democratic later earlier are becoming democratic now. So many countries in the world which were not democratic, now they are becoming democracy. That is good thing. Isn't it obvious that democracy is the best? Yolanda is saying, भाई क्या तुम्हें लगता है कि like it is the best? So another student says, oh, but Lingdo ma'am had said should not accept something just because it is famous, just because everyone else accept it. Isn't it possible that everyone is following the wrong path? Oh, great! It means this kind of student should be in the class. Then Jenny says, yeah, yes, it is actually is a yes, it is. It actually is a wrong path. What has democracy brought to our country? More than half century of democracy, and there is so much poverty in our country. So she is raising right question now. Naribeng also says, but what has democracy got to do with it? Bhai, if the poverty is there, it is just because of the people. What is the fault of the democratic government? Do we have poverty because we are democratic, or do we have poverty despite being a democracy? Ah, right. Nice question. Here Jenny says, whatever. I don't know whatever how it is. How does it make a difference? The point is that it cannot be best form. That this cannot. It means democracy cannot become the best form of the government, because the democracy is all about the choice, instability, corruption, hypocrisy, and I will explain these words to you also. The politicians fight among themselves. Who care for the country, for the poor people? Oh, this kind of discussion is going on. You will read this, so you will get this. So after this discussion, they come on to the a kind of conclusion. Then teacher comes. Okay, ma'am, the teacher comes. Then she says, okay, you are right. Now we will discuss about the two things. Okay, what are the two things? First, we will argue against democracy, and then we will give some arguments for in favor of democracy. So, argument against democracy. This conversation has most of the arguments that we routinely hear against democracy. Let us go over some of these arguments. So, some weak points of democracy is there. So, now we are going to study about that. What are the weak points of democracy? So, first, leaders keep changing in the democracy. This leads to a instability. Yes, this is right. According to me, is also right. By in a country like India or in any country where elections held in every 5 year, each 5 year. So what happens? Like he doesn't do good work, or he doesn't understand in the starting how to do the good work. As he understood something, then election comes and he loses. Then another person comes in the power. So that person is an old person. He wanted to do something now, but now he is out of the power. So that's why we can say here, sorry. So that's why we can say it creates a kind of instability in a country. Okay, nothing then stable condition is not. But in the king type or the where the we can say a dictator type government dictatorship, there the person is permanent for the 10 or 15 years or 30 years, sometimes 20 years. So he can work according to his will, okay, for the long time, and the stability is there. So that is the weak point of democracy. Now we'll go to the second point. Democracy is all about political competition and power play. There is no scope for the morality. Okay, we all know that in our country or in any democracy, it is all about the political competition. Who is going to win, how to win. They play games, sometimes dirty games they play, sometimes they divide the people. Okay, sometimes they raise the different kind of matters or kind of. Okay, so it means it is all about the power play. It means which party or which kind of people are having the more power, they win. Okay, so the morality doesn't have any scope here. Now third one, so many people have to be consulted in the democracy, that it leads to delays. Yes, I also believe in this. In in democracy, what happens if somebody want to take any decision? So they have to ask to many people. Just we can say, if government want to pass any law, so first that law will be created in the cabinet, then the cabinet will pass that, then they will come in the Lok Sabha, then Lok Sabha will pass it, then Rajya Sabha, if there is any problem they will send it back, then again. So it will take more time, then that law or then that scheme will come on surface. It will take long and long time to it means to come in the true form. It means it will take a long time. Okay, just we can say, by if in any village somebody want to make a, okay, like government asked to people, now we are going to make a hospital or school in your village. Now on we want land for this. We will give the money to you, but we want land for this. Nobody will give the land. Why? Because everyone want that near about their land should be a hospital or a school. By that they can open any shop, medical store or stationery shop to sell their items, or they will be in beneficial. If they on their land will be the school, so other will take the benefit. So this kind, and they we can say they delay this kind of thing with the all people's we can say confirmation. It will take a long time. But if the dictatorship kind of thing, so they will tell on this land any school or hospital kind of thing will be constructed. So want to say this thing, in democracy we have to consult many people. Okay, somewhere it is good also, we will learn about it. Elected leaders do not know the best interests of the people. It leads to bad decisions. Yes, it's happened sometimes. The elected leaders, they do not because they do not go to public again, so they don't know what is the benefit or what is the interest of the people, what people want or not. So when they don't know about this, so they take wrong decisions sometimes. Next, democracy leads to corruption for it's based on electoral competition. We all know about it. Okay, that in a country which is democratic, only election decides that who is going to rule on this country, on that state or that thing. So that's why people want to give more, and then it leads to more and more corruption. People give the money, take the money for that. We all know about it. So corruption level is little higher in democracies. Ordinary people do not know what is good for them. They should not decide anything. Okay, so ordinary person, uh, I can't say this, but yeah, when the poor person, they do not know about what to do, what not to do, what are their rights, what are their duties. They do not know about it. So they can't decide anything. They just go and vote for the person who come there and make them dream about the good things. Okay, so these are arguments against democracy. So as you can see, are there some of other arguments against democracy that you can think of? Which of these arguments apply mainly to the democracy? Which of these can apply to misuse of any form of government? Which of these do you agree with that? Okay, so same thing they are saying by these are 5 6 7, but other argument you can want to make against democracy. Okay, you can message me in my comment box for this. Okay, if you want something or you have something idea kind of thing, but yeah, this idea, this is against democracy or kind. Okay, so these are the uh, against of democracy arguments. Now argument for democracy, now we have come on this second point. So what they are saying in the starting, firstly they are giving the example. Try to understand. Yesterday or before yesterday I heard that in the news also. Okay, very old news, like 1958 to 1961, where worst recorded famine. Famine, when person dies for food, without food. Okay, starvation it is called. In Hindi we call it bhukmari. So 1958 to 1961, very bad famine was there in China. Okay, around 3 crore people died in this famine. Around 3 crore people. Can you imagine? Okay, so during those days, India's economic condition was not much better than China. Yet India did not have a famine of kind of China had. Why? If in India in 1950 or 1960, if 3 crore people were died just because of food, so can you imagine that what kind of political pressure would could be created on the our politician and our government, because our government was accountable government. Okay, our government has to answer in India, because constitution says this thing. So but in China we all know there is different kind of government. It is called communist government. They do not have to answer, they don't have to answer to the people. So in this way, the result of the different government policies in two countries. Okay, economist thinks, what economics tells, that it was the result of different government policies. If in India, because government was democratic government in India, that's why government respond to food scarcity. If somewhere people were dying just because of food, it is the responsibility of the government to provide them. But Chinese government did not. Chinese government didn't have to answer to anyone. So by this, and if by if just we can say, if government is not providing food in country, so opposition party opposition party, free press, it means the news channels or news reporters, okay, so they are having the same opportunity to raise the question against government. But in China, no opposition party, no free press was there, so that's why they didn't have to face this problem. So that same thing they are saying, this example brings out that one of the reason why democracy is considered the best form of the government democracy is better than any another form of government in responding to the needs of the people. Okay, so what they are saying, a democratic government is a better government because it is a more accountable form of government. Accountable means responsible. Okay, if something happens to their citizens, so they have to respond, they have to answer for that. Okay, so this is one we can say argument for democracy. Now there is another reason why democracy should lead to the better decision than any non-democratic government. Democracy is based on the consultation and discussion, so they discuss a lot. So that's why we can say here, so they talk about it a lot. If any wrong decision is going to be taken, so opposition party people they tell that this amendment should be changed, or this rule should be changed. So it consult to the many of people. So that is why it takes time, we know. It takes time, a lot time it takes, but in the end the decision are favorable for the people. So thus, for this we can say democracy improves the quality of decision making. It means they take good decisions, okay, for the people. This is second argument. Now third, very important, it will help you in class 10th also, this argument. This year in pre-board exams, the question came. This is related to the third argument. Democracy provides a method to deal with differences and conflicts. We all know in our country, I'm giving you example of our country. In our country, people speak hundreds of language. They wear different kind of cloth. They speak different language. They follow different religion. They live in the different part of the country. After that, all we are one. Why? Because of democracy. It provides the method. What method it provides? It gives the power to all. It means central government has their own power, state government has their own power, local bodies have their own power, and at least one single citizen, one individual has their same they are having their rights. So we can say the that's why we can say government deals with these differences. If the conflict is there, they will sit, they will decide, okay, they will talk, not they will not fight each other. Okay, so that's why democracy is the best method according to me to deal with these differences and conflicts. In any society, people are born with any differences, opinion, interests. These differences are particularly sharp in the country like ours, which has an amazing social diversity. People belong to different region, speak different languages. Same thing I told you. Okay, so this kind of thing is there. So now what we get in the end, the democracy enhance the dignity of citizen. It means in the end, the people of India or people of any country, any democratic country, their dignity, their respect, their self respect becomes more. Okay, they become more important for the country. So that's why we can say democracy enhance the dignity of citizen. Okay, because power is given to all. Okay, so these were the arguments. Now the finally democracy is the better than other form of governments because it allows us to correct its own mistake. Why it is better from than it is, why it is better than other? Because we can correct our own mistakes. Okay, own mistakes, it means if our government's mistake also, if they have made any wrong decision, so they can take it back. Okay, they can discuss about it, and they can just take it back also. So that's why we can say this is the better form of government than other type of garments. Here the cartoons also just you can see that. So now in the end we will discuss. Okay, it is, we need to discuss it a little bit more, so we will discuss it later. Till now it is over for today, so you can study it, and if you have any questions about this chapter, so you can comment in comment box or in my group. Thank you.